John Bush and Kat Bleish here with the Uncoinventional Living Tour West update. We're here in the hotel room in Utah. Didn't quite make it to our destination, Colorado. We'll tell you why here shortly. But we want to give you an update on the Las Vegas adventure, to say the least. Our kiddos are here. They're waking up slowly but surely. William Lysander's awake. Say hello, William.
He waved.
He waved. Aliana's waking up with Murray jumping on the bed to greet her. Hey, Ollie. So, follow along on our updates and tour and podcast and live blog at uncoinventional.com. So, we left Los Angeles and headed for Las Vegas. Along the way, we stopped at Steak and Shake, and we purchased a gift card on gift, gyft.com. Check out gyft.com/Bitcoin.
Over the mountains and through the woods to Las Vegas we went. Sorry, I just had an urge.
Cat's goofing off this morning. We love it. And you can check out Gift and use the Uncoin14, Uncoin14 coupon code, which is still live and active, to get $5 back on your $25 purchase. So we stopped and ate at Steak and Shake, which is one of the few fast food places that we'll actually set foot in. It's kind of medium food, not truly fast. I sometimes eat at Chick-fil-A, and Kat always gives me a hard time. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I give him a hard time because he sneaks it. I found a Chick-fil-A cup in the car, and I was like, ooh, who the hell's been eating this crap? And he's like, oh, that's me.
I go to Chick-fil-A when I'm alone because we don't want to give our kids the food. But
because he likes to poison his body, his liver, his other organs really appreciate the nasty, nasty food.
Yeah, she eats at Steak and Shake.
I eat a salad and a soup.
Who knows what the soup's made out of?
Vegetables, at least.
Vegetables and MSG.
I doubt there's MSG at Steak and Shake.
Okay, nonetheless, we digress. The meal was great. Kids had a couple shakes. Me and Kat split one. So on and so forth. We're back on the road, heading to Las Vegas. We get in pretty late, later than we had hoped. But Kat had found this awesome place that we booked using a global hotel card, gift card on gift, gyft.com. So Gift has all sorts of things from food to entertainment and lodging. And we used globalhotelcard.com, which is powered by Orbitz. Kat, tell us about the hotel that we picked. I wanted to stay on the Strip, but it ended up being a much higher value and better bang for our buck to stay at this place called Staybridge Inn. Kat, why did you think this was such a good choice?
Well, I did a lot of research on the hotels. I spent several hours on each destination. And in Vegas, when I was reading reviews on TripAdvisor, I found Staybridge Inn and Suites had the absolute best reviews. And Ollie just jumped out of bed. And people were saying that they left their hotel on the Strip to come to Staybridge, and it was a much better experience. And I actually wasn't expecting there to be a full kitchen in there when we arrived. There was a stove, refrigerator. It was really fabulous.
Oh, yeah, it's like an extended stay, kind of.
Yeah, it was really great. They're pet friendly. There's this new program on the Strip with the big swanky hotels called Pet Stay, and they charge $75 per night per pet.
Lame.
Really lame. And they make you show vaccination records, and we're anti-vaccine
Even
for
lamer.
both ourselves and our animals. So, you know, we were like, well, we're not going to stay at one of these swanky places, in part for that, in part because of the cost, but also because, you know, I'm not sold on the crazy lights and flashing and chaos. That's just not my style, and I was happy to stay across the street from the Strip. John really wasn't. We kind of bickered about it, but I really felt that this would be a better option, and I'm glad we chose it because it was. Staybridge Inn and Suites. If you're going to Vegas, you're traveling on Bitcoin, especially if you have kids or a dog, I think this is the place to go. Staybridge Inn and Suites.
Yeah, they have patios too, little back porch areas. We got one that was overlooking the Strip, which was pretty cool. So we stayed there, and we got in late, and Kat noticed that they had room service, food, and it was actually reasonably priced.
Mommy,
Well, it actually wasn't room service. It was called Dine In. He ate yucky cereal? Was it yucky, Bill? It was?
my birthday.
What about your birthday?
Mom, my birthday and my rose skirt.
Oh, you want the rose skirt.
Yeah, don't do that.
Cracker Barrel.
Yesterday, we'll get to this point. We went to a restaurant, and they have a little gift shop. And there's this beautiful rose skirt, and Ollie really wanted it. And now the first thing she's talking about waking up is the rose skirt. Sweet girl. Sweet girl.
She loves Cracker Barrel. So we tried to order the food. Kat tried to order the food. I was working away on a story for the Liberty Beat.
Jelly bellies.
Yeah, we don't get Jelly Bellies there anymore.
Yeah.
Why don't you get Jelly Bellies anymore, Ollie? Is it too much sugar? She has been figuring out that sugar affects her body and makes her go kind of crazy, cry a lot, and gives her stomach aches. So she has voluntarily, on her own, through the advice of her naturopath, cut down on her sugar intake. That's a 3-year-old. You empower your children, folks, and they will be empowered.
No need for coercion, just reason. So, as we were saying, Kat tried to order the food.
You gotta do your birthday.
My birthday's not for a while. We tried to order the food, and it turns out they wouldn't take our gift card. They have to have a card that has your name on it.
The Visa prepaid that we bought through a proxy, to be clear. It was a Visa prepaid. We bought it through the proxy, and they said that you have to show an ID, and you have to show the card, and they have to match, or they won't give you the food when they arrive. And I was like, uh-oh, well, ours is a gift card. We don't have an ID that matches it. Is that going to be a problem? And the guy was not friendly. And this dine-in service was a national service, so I was talking to the national call center. They directed me to the local kitchen. The local kitchen said, no, we will not deliver it. And I was like, okay. So what am I supposed to do? I've got two toddlers here that are hungry. We were excited about the menu options. And he's like, well, you can hang up and call the national call center. And he was not friendly at all. Thankfully, the national call center was still on the line. And he was like, actually, I'm still here. Why don't you just hang up, dude? I'll talk to her. And he tried to find a way to help us. He put me on hold, but he couldn't figure anything out because it was based on the local kitchen's policies. So at this point, I was really hungry, and I started crying. I was really upset. So I found another pizza place in town, called them, placed the order. Come to find out, the Visa prepaid would not go through over the phone. It wouldn't work. We read the card number. We gave him the CSV number on the back. The card would not go through. So at this point, I am just, I'm a wreck. We're hungry. We've driven a long way. My kids are hungry. John's trying to work. And so we're like basically bickering because he is trying to meet a deadline for a news story and I am trying to feed myself and the family and I can't figure out a way to pay for it. I don't like eating the national chain pizza delivery services that you can get through gift card services like Gift, especially when you're on the road because it's like you don't want to eat the same thing everywhere you go. It gets old. We're also gluten-free. Alas, that's where we had to go. We had to buy pizza with Bitcoin through a gift card service. You can do that with Papa John's through Gift if you want. And that was our night. It was rough, but we made it. We ate. We fell asleep happy.
And we woke up the next morning to go check out the strip and get ready for our Bitcoin meetup. So we started the day off meeting with Julian. He's one of the organizers of the Las Vegas meetup. And he went and proxied for us to buy some gift cards because at this point we were running low on our gas cards. We had a couple unexpected expenditures. And so we met with him and gave him a couple $100 worth of Bitcoin, and he hooked us up with, I rode with him to the CVS and got a couple $100 worth of Visa gift cards. So we come back to the hotel, and where did we eat lunch? What did we do for lunch?
We just ate lunch in the hotel. We just had some snacks before we left. And then
we went on to Fremont Street.
Yes, but first, there were all of these unfortunate things that started happening, right? It started with
Cat's
our
Lemony
arrival.
Snickets.
Yeah, my Lemony Snickets, my Uncoinventional Snickets. So, in the morning, Bill drops a glass jar. And I'm standing right there. And I instantly slice my foot open, and it starts dripping blood on the floor.
It's a pretty serious slice.
Great. So that happens. Then I go to get dressed, and I rip my shirt up the side of the seam. I'm like, okay, here we go. That's interesting.
Almost there.
Okay, my birthday's almost there. My birthday's in March. All he
Brand new
wants me to
shirt.
let you guys know. Was not a brand new shirt. It was a tank top I've been wearing since it was a breastfeeding shirt. So anyway, I ripped that. I ripped that shirt. I'm like, great, here we go. This is going to be a bad day. This is like just one thing after another. Next thing you know, after the hotel comes up and cleans up the glass in the bathroom, Bill drops another glass jar all over the bathroom. So there was that. And then at that point, I think we were about ready to go. And we took off for Fremont Street to go spend some Bitcoin.
So we went to Fremont Street. So we went to Fremont Street with the intention of checking out the D Hotel. And the D takes Bitcoin. And we ate at the D Grill. And we also bought some whiskey and a stuffed animal at the D gift shop. Oh, Bill's climbing on the window unit there. And it was awesome. It was a great experience on Bitcoin. At the two registers, they both had iPads that were in these nice protective cases. And we said, we're coming to pay with Bitcoin. And they confidently pulled out the iPad and pulled up the BitPay app that they had. It was the only app they had on there. The iPad's specific purpose was to take Bitcoin. They said that they hadn't really there weren't very many people that would come in and get Bitcoin at the grill. They said the gift shop, there was more people that would come in, but I think it was a wonderful example of a Bitcoin accepting business that knew how to do it simply and seamlessly and had no problems whatsoever. We later heard from Julian that he frequents the D and is checking up on them to make sure that they know how things work. Another story, as we were walking to the D, there's a little stand out there selling these crowns. Aliana's our little princess, our little
Like
queen.
tiara crowns.
Queen Aliana. Right, Aliana? Is it Queen Elsa or Queen Aliana?
Aliana.
That's right. Get it right, sucker. And so she said, hey, a crown. I want a crown. So we went to go check it out. And we were going to use our Visa gift card, and the merchant ended up sticking us with a $3 charge. What?
I want my birthday for a crown. I want my birthday for a crown. My birthday gift.
You want a crown on your birthday? All right, we'll get you an extra special crown for your birthday. So she stuck us with a $3 tab. She said, well, you can pay with cash, or if I got to take a card, it's $3. And at first they weren't going to accept the card because it didn't have my name on it. They wanted to see a license. So I guess there's a lot of fraud that goes down in Las Vegas. So a lot of people were asking for IDs along with the card. But I was kind of upset that they stuck us with a $3 charge. Usually the merchant picks that up and at least incorporates it in the price. But whatever. So then across the street, there's this thing called Slotzilla, and it's a massive slot machine that's also a zip line that zips you all the way down Fremont Street, which is pretty cool. And they take Bitcoin, which is awesome. It's $20 for the smaller ride, $40 for the bigger ride that goes across the top higher. And I wanted to do it more so for the purpose of the blog and to support. Hey, Murray, get down. Murray's about to eat the kids' breakfast. But we didn't end up having time to do it. In fact, we did have time, but we had 3 different devices that each said different times, and the time zones have really been screwing us up going through Mountain and Pacific time. But so then we leave Fremont Street. Aliana and I go and check out the aquarium, the Shark Reef Aquarium at Mandalay Bay. Bill was asleep in the car, so me and Ollie went on a solo mission. Kat circled around the hotel and almost died 6 times, she says. She's not the best driver.
Hey, I may not be the best driver. I think in part it's because my vision's really bad. But
In part.
it was insane, the traffic. We were literally on the other side of the highway from the Mandalay Bay. We could see it.
Oh, McDonald had a farm. Yeah.
That's right.
Ollie's
So-
never set foot in a McDonald's, so
Yeah,
every time she
so-
sees the sign, she thinks it's associated with the
So
song.
John was giving me directions that he was under a McDonald's sign at this time, so she's remembering that. Anyway, our hotel was just over the highway on the other side, and all I had to do was go over the highway to my hotel, to chill in the parking lot, to go back to pick up John and Aliana. It took me 25 minutes to make it through one set of stoplights over the highway. By the time I got there, I had to turn back around and go back to pick them up. It was crazy. People were like cutting me off, swerving into me. I'd never experienced anything like driving on the strip in the evening. I never want to do it again, ever.
So Ollie and I had a good time at the Shark Reef Aquarium, and afterwards we rushed over to the Bitcoin meetup that was organized for that night. The Bitcoin meetup was at this awesome establishment that's been accepting Bitcoin since last November, I believe, and it's called the Crepe. And man, it's in this really cool mixed-use development place. Usually we don't like mixed-use developments because they're most often, they get subsidies from the cities and they're TIF funded, and it's it's antithetical to free market principles. The city picks winners and losers. I asked around, and from what I gathered, this place wasn't TIF funded, but it was super cool, super snazzy. It was in a wealthier part of town. And this restaurant's great. You walk in, there was a jazz band to the right, an open kitchen to the left making all sorts of crepes. Dinner crepes, breakfast crepes, dessert crepes. They had gluten-free, vegan, all sorts of different options on the menu. And then there's a back area that not only doubles as a meeting space.
You're really into birthdays today,
It's
Ollie.
birthday morning. There's a meeting space that not only doubles as a meeting space, but it also has a children's play area, and they do story time and all sorts of stuff. And then you go upstairs, and there's this open market with little snazzy boutiques and stuff like that. So it was great. There was a bunch of people there. We met a bunch of the great Las Vegas movement. A bunch of them were from the Liberty movement. Had some great conversations. Interestingly enough, the topic of peaceful parenting came up, as it did at our LA Bitcoin meetup or our San Diego Bitcoin meetup. Right? Where did the peaceful parenting come up? Was it Vegas? Or LA? You are a little crazy. That's okay. We're all
Yeah, it was at our Mission Beach meetup at Draft. Was the first time we heard peaceful parenting come up, and then again it was in Vegas.
There's all these themes that are present in the Bitcoin movement, Liberty movement, and just parenting movement, all sorts of stuff. So that's just a quick side note. So I ended up getting a interview with Alexander. He's the owner. He's big on Bitcoin. They accepted it, of course, super easily.
Olaf's birthday.
Olaf's birthday? The character from Frozen? Cool. Well, we'll have to celebrate it because it's snowing outside. And so that was great. He was cool. He's also a member of the meetup. He frequents the meetup regularly. Okay, hold on, Ollie. Let me finish this meetup, okay?
This is Life with Toddlers,
This
everyone.
is a podcast.
You never have a complete thought, a complete sentence, or anything.
It's chaos.
We're just rolling with the punches, man. We're rolling with the punches. We love it.
Yeah,
we love it. We love it.
We want to give you the authentic blush, unconventional experience. So here we're going to go ahead and without further delay give you an interview that I did with Alexander about Bitcoin and his experience. He loved it. It's a short and sweet interview. So here's the interview with Alexander, the owner of the Crepe. We're here with Alexander Alexandrov. He's the owner of the Crepe, which is here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's a Bitcoin accepting establishment that's also got all sorts of great stuff. The food was great, atmosphere is great, art, jazz, music, even a little place for the kids to play, which is great for Kat and I. And we're going to chat with him about Bitcoin and how it relates to his business and if it's benefited and all that good stuff. So first of all, thanks for letting us host the meetup here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming. It was a great thing to support the movement and everything. So yeah.
Cool. How long have you been in business here?
We opened about a year ago. So yeah, November of last year.
Excellent. And how long have you been accepting Bitcoin?
Since December of last year.
Oh, cool. So right off the bat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How'd you hear about Bitcoin?
Well, my background is computer programming, so before I started this adventure, I was heavily involved with the downtown project and people over there. So Julian, actually I don't remember. I heard about Bitcoin somewhere, but Julian was the one that really showed it to me about 3 years ago.
Okay.
You know how it works and all that, when it was still $30 per Bitcoin.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you decided that it would be a good fit for your business?
Yeah, as soon as we decided to open a restaurant, I knew that was going to be one thing that I'm going to do is accept Bitcoins.
How does the integration work? Was it difficult to get it going, or?
Yeah, well, I'm using a iPad POS system on an iPad, and so when Apple kicked out all the wallets from the App Store, it made it more difficult, and I think that kind of prevented some people from doing it, because unless I'm here, the employees didn't have an easy way to kind of accept Bitcoins from customers. And now that they put it back on, it's a lot easier, but it's still pretty difficult. Not a lot of POS systems accept Bitcoin and integrate with it, so it's kind of a mess to do it.
And so what do you just kind of count it as cash in the point of sale system, and then?
Yeah, I do it as a check, so that every transaction that's a Bitcoin, it's counted as a check because there's no other option.
Okay.
Do you convert, if you don't mind me asking, do you
Yeah.
convert it all to cash, or do you hold some Bitcoin too?
I hold all of it. I sometimes
Nice.
use it to buy stuff. There's a soda store up the street, and they accept Bitcoin too.
Cool.
So whenever I'm over there, I pay in Bitcoin.
Nice.
But most of it, I hold it.
Awesome. So is your staff trained to accept Bitcoin if you weren't around?
Yeah, it's still a bit difficult for them to grasp it. Even though, like, I have a separate tablet, an Android tablet, just for the Bitcoins, but it's still kind of a mess.
Sure.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's still early. It'll get easier. How often do people come in that pay with Bitcoin?
I used to have a lot of people show up in the first couple months after I started accepting it, but then it kind of became harder to do it when I'm not here. So I noticed that, kind of dropped down. And so it's picking up again, though. We're hosting the Bitcoin meetup. We're hosting lunch mobs and things like that.
Cool. Tell us about these lunch mobs.
So they're just part of what the local, the biggest meetup, Bitcoin meetup, they do Bitcoin lunch mobs. They go around different restaurants and establishments and just spend Bitcoins.
Cool. Tell me, why were you so excited about Bitcoin? Was it from the technical standpoint? You liked the protocol, or do you appreciate it politically or philosophically?
All of the above. Yeah, definitely after the crash, and kind of seeing how on the background there's all these banks and things that are controlling the money, and really, there's a bunch of people just making decisions for millions and billions.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to try and kind of come up with a different way, and just the way it was executed, specifically Bitcoin, it's just a beautiful kind of a concept and execution.
Cool. The people's money.
So yeah.
All right, finally, can you tell the listeners where they might find your restaurant, if there's a website, or how they could learn more and come spend some Bitcoin with you?
Yeah, thecrepelasvegas.com, and we're located in Tivoli Village at 420 South Rampart Boulevard.
Cool. Well, thanks.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed my meal.
Thank
Thoroughly.
you. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up quick. After the crepe, we went back home and hung out. Kat and I had some alone time. The kids went to sleep, which is rare. And the next morning, we woke up and had a late departure because we had to finish up some stuff for our sponsors and some promotion of some of our podcasts and stuff. And we departed, started driving through, heading out towards the mountains. We got into Utah, and we decided to stop at the Cracker Barrel to eat. And the Cracker Barrel is one of the few places that we eat on egifter.com. Now, Cracker Barrel isn't on Gift, or we would use Gift. They're our preference. They're a lot easier, smoother to use. And the reason why I guess they're not on Gift is because eGifter has them on there incorrectly. So we sat down, we got our meal. The waiter was awesome. He was fabulous. And we got our meal, and I go to pay for it with our eGifter gift card that's on my phone. It's a $50 meal, and no, it's actually $41. I got about a $50 gift card. I intended to give the entirety of the remaining amount between $41 and $50 to the waiter. And we hear from the manager that they can't take the online gift cards. Now, this is something that we heard like 2 months prior, but they went ahead and accepted it anyway. And then since then, we used the gift card a couple times in between there. But this time, the manager insisted on not taking it. And I told her, well, we've used it across the country. And she said, well, those people probably got in trouble. There's a new policy now because there's people that are using it unauthorized. So she ended up giving it to the meal for free. She said, rather than take this gift card and me get in trouble, I'd rather comp the meal. And so I said, well, I mean, that's good, except I want to give a tip. I can't give a tip without this card. And I didn't mind stiffing Cracker Barrel, a national corporation I'm sure has plenty of room. It wasn't intentional, of course. But I didn't
stiff him.
Well, I didn't want to stiff the waiter without a tip. So I went out to the car and grabbed the only paper wallet that I had that had like 5 millibits on it. It was a promotional one from one of the Miami conferences that happened a year ago or so. Somebody had given it to me at I forget where they gave it to me, one of the meetups or something. And so I went up there, I loaded it. It had about $1.77 worth of Bitcoin on it. I loaded it with $10 more, went in and talked to the waiter, told him about Bitcoin. He'd never heard about it, and gave him the $12 worth of Bitcoin on the paper wallet. I left him my phone number if he wanted help. I gave him an Airbits card so he could see how to open up his own wallet, and I gave him a gift card, our little promotional GYFT material that had the Uncoin 14 thing on it. And so he was actually pretty excited about it. And it was yet another example of us tipping our waiter with Bitcoin. This one, he didn't have a choice in this matter, but he seemed excited about it. Each one of these waiters, I tell him Bitcoin went up 65 times in 2013, so one of the best things you could do is hold on to your little tip here. And,
but it went down how many times in 2014?
Cut that. Cut that. Shh. So I tell him, if it does the same thing this year. Murray, hey. Shh. I think Murray's hungry. If it goes up like that again, then they stand to take a $10 tip and turn it into $650.
Murray had multiple sausages from the hotel breakfast this morning. He's just trying to get Aliana's sausages too, FYI.
Cat doesn't want you to think we're starving our dog.
I don't.
He's a pampered dog. So then that's that. We left, and at this time, Cat's tablet started malfunctioning. So we went to the AT&T store to see if there's anything we can get. First we went to Target with our Target gift card to see if we could acquire one there. They're all way too expensive. AT&T store couldn't help us out. And that particular AT&T store was a franchise one, not the corporate store. And they weren't very nice or friendly. So long story short, Cat's tablet is malfunctioning because Bill dropped it like 6 months ago. Same time he dropped my Samsung Galaxy S5. So we both have cracked devices, but Cat's finally starting to give out. So
I dropped it on the Uncoinventional tour. I bent down at a gas station to put shoes on one of the kids, and it fell out of my bag.
You dropped it. Here I am blaming my son.
No, I dropped. Bill broke the iPad when he broke John's iPhone. Then I dropped the tablet, which replaced the iPad. Then, most recently, Bill took a salt shaker and slammed the middle of the tablet with it, and that's where most of the malfunctioning's coming from.
Nice. So the point is, Cat's tablet is now busted. We're going to try to scrape our millibits together and get one. If anybody wants to make a donation at this point, you can find the different addresses. We take Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, NXT, LTB coin, or we'll accept PayPal and convert it over to Bitcoin. So if anybody wants to donate right now, your donation will go straight towards the acquisition of another tablet, which we're using every hour of every day in order to keep people updated, in order to share all the good news about our sponsors and keep people updated from what we're doing here on the road. Photos, writing, yada, yada, yada. So we're not asking for a whole lot of donations from the public because we had a few sponsors, Cheap Air, Gift, and Airbits, that were really generous and supportive of us. But we're coming towards the we're coming towards the end of our trip, and so we're asking for some donations now to help support us. We want to give you the magic word now. The magic word is, like we did before, we'll go ahead and make the magic word the hotel that we stayed at in Las Vegas. Staybridge Hotel. That's Staybridge. Staybridge Hotel. That'll be 2 words. Staybridge, which is 1 word, and hotel. And hotel is spelled Hotel. Yes, with 1 space. Staybridge, space, hotel is the magic word. So that's about it in a nutshell. Oh, I forgot to tell you, after we were leaving the AT&T store, we're driving through the mountains, and we see the temperature drop. Starting on our trip, it was 49, 48, 47, 46. As we get in the mountains, it drops all the way to 34, and it starts snowing. And I'm starting to get a little nervous about the drive, and we see these frozen road signs and then 6% grade decline as you drive down. Then we see a jackknifed 18-wheeler that was totally flipped over, and there was wreckage spread out over like 100 yards.
On the side of a bridge.
On the side of a bridge. And it was pretty scary, so we decided to cut our night's ride short. It was already starting to drag on, as is this podcast. We decided to cut our trip short and pulled over at another hotel unexpectedly in Utah. And if that wasn't enough, the first place we booked, Quality Inn, since we have a pet, we showed up and we haven't really had any problems before. They only had 3 pet rooms and they were all booked. So we booked the hotel and we had to message Cheap Air and let them know what happened. At first there was hesitation as to whether or not we were going to get our money back, but they ended up letting us get our money back. We now have a credit with them, and the people on customer service was really helpful, and we ended up booking a Holiday Inn. So here we are in the Holiday Inn, caught up to the present date. This is the Uncoinventional Living Tour. We're on our way to Colorado next. There's a lot of snow still going on. Hopefully we're able to make it into our next stop. We're headed to Denver, Colorado, where we're going to have a Bitcoin meetup. And I want to remind you to check us out at uncoinventional.com and follow the blog, follow the podcast, all that good stuff. And we're going to go ahead and sign out. Peace and freedom, love, Bitcoin, rock and roll.